Apologies for that, we hope you can hear us now, but welcome back to another episode of Encounter. Tonight's show is the penultimate in our series, and we have an absolutely jam-packed show.
Absolutely, it's gonna be incredible. We have some amazing, huge announcement for you guys. But to start tonight's show, we've been having a discussion. Now this is really important. This is something that I'm holding really close to my heart, so I need you guys on board with me here. Me and Gideon are in disagreement. Right, we're going to open up a poll for you guys because I am voting for Team Kosher for Pesach croutons over normal croutons. You know the little hula hoop ones, like the ones that you can just eat out of a bowl, like they're unbelievable. But Gideon's so Team normal croutons, so we want to hear what you guys think so you can actually solve this dispute between us. We're only going to open the poll for about 10 seconds, but we just want to know your views because, but come on, back me up, like the hula hoop styles, they're just scrummy, they're so good.
Yes, just tell us which one I just want to kind of decide this debate once and for all and be able to kind of just, you know, clear up any confusion about which croutons are better. So vote on your screens when you see the box, the voting box, and we will announce, I guess, the results a little later on. But in the meantime, I wanted to remind everybody about an upcoming event this Thursday evening. We spoke a little bit about it last week. If you are looking for ways to earn yourself a little bit of extra money during your time at university, then this is a fantastic opportunity to become potentially an ambassador for an organization that we're partnering with next on Thursday evening, Finito. Finito are a company that are experts in employability. They help students who graduate from university to secure their dream job. They coach you, they'll put you in touch with the right people, they've got fantastic contacts. And we are doing this event to help you guys get a step on the ladder of success. That's Thursday evening. If you haven't signed up yet, please do so. Completely free event, of course. So join us Thursday evening.
An unbelievable opportunity. But let's kick off tonight's penultimate episode with a fun little game. So we're going to be playing a game of Hangman. We're going to be playing this game twice, and myself and Gideon are going to have thought of some words. Now, the way this is going to work is we're going to bring in some guests, some familiar faces. We have, to start with, Leah Moskovsky representing the Leeds campus, and she's going to pick some letters to resemble this word. Now, the idea is if you guess the word correctly first and message Encounter admin, then you will win a £10 Amazon gift voucher. But if Leah guesses the word before any of you guys do, then she will win anyone watching from Leeds campus an extra 2 membership points towards some of our incredible merch, as well as, of course, our discounts on our amazing trips. So, Gideon, do you have a word?
I do indeed. You can see the number of dashes over here representing the number of letters. I'm not a world expert in how to play Hangman, but I'm pretty sure I've got the basics. So I'm going to start taking guesses from Leah, and we'll see how we go. If you're from Leeds, you're either trying to get yourself a £10 Amazon voucher by beating our Leeds educational team to it, or if Leeds guess first, then you will be the winner of 2 extra membership points. So over to you, Leia. Let's guess some letters.
Okay, first one is E. E for echo.
Okay, give me a second. I believe there is an E for echo over there.
Right. Okay, S.
There we go, there is an S. You're doing pretty well.
R.
Oh, there is an R as well.
You're good at guessing letters, Leia.
Thank
So
you.
I don't know how much that's going to help you over there.
Okay, I.
There is an I as well.
You're very good at
Let's just
guessing
get it in the.
letters.
There we go. Over there. There's an I.
Okay, A.
Remember, if you're watching and you think you know what it is, then post it to Encounter Admin. If you get there first, then you might win. There's an A over there and also over there, and this might give it away a little bit, but there's another A there.
Oh, wow.
Okay, wow. Just thinking this through. N.
N.
N. There is an N. Gosh, you haven't got any letters wrong yet. Now, I bet there's people in the audience who are putting the right answer in already.
Like it looks like a Hebrew word, but I doubt it would be.
I know.
I don't think it's a Hebrew word. I know it's not a Hebrew word, actually. So.
It's disappeared. It's disappeared. Thank you. That's better.
Let's have a look. See.
Just guess something. You've still got all your lives of hangman left.
I know. Okay. T.
Very good. That's a dead giveaway.
Like, oh, the AstraZeneca,
Very good. You're not getting a single letter wrong. The question remains as to whether you got it first, but yes, it was indeed AstraZeneca. Sorry for being so obscure, but it was a relevant word. Handing over to Danielle for her word.
My word, please.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Right, okay. My word. Okay, so we're going to bring on Adina Strom representing the northern campuses for this. Remember, you guys can still send through your guesses for your £10. Oh, Adina Strom, we're along with the whole Strom family. Adina, can you hear us? Because we can't hear you. Are you on mute?
There we go. We're unmuted. And this is a family effort because Leia did so well. We're a bit scared that we're not going to do as well, so we need some backup.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Guess away.
R. R.
Well done, Jaya.
Is it?
2 already. There we go.
Okay, I can't see it. One sec.
I don't see a different one, otherwise.
I'm just going to pin this one. E. E.
Is that an E?
E for egg.
E for egg. There is no E. I never know what to do. Let's start with this one.
Yeah, let's start with a straight line. Beginning of the hangman.
A.
A. There is an A.
Hangman.
Rude.
Rude. No, shy.
Road. Can we do the first word? Road.
The first word is road.
Remember, people watching, if the family strong get this first, then everyone from all the nations gets an extra 2 membership points.
Road trip.
Road trip.
Road trip is my word.
Yay!
Awesome. Now, to find out, everyone watching, whether the Stroms got there first or whether someone in the audience actually guessed it before you, you'll have to stay tuned to find out whether which one of those is the actual results. So stay tuned, and we'll be announcing that a bit later on. Thank you, family Strom. And now, something even more exciting. We move on to the central feature of tonight's show. The central feature of tonight's show as we continue our journey through the Abraham Accords, a series that looks at Jewish values, the impact they've made on the world over the last 3,000 years. And tonight we are encountering the Jewish value of ethical monotheism. And to do so with us, we welcome Rabbi Daniel Rowe.
So what did ethical monotheism bring to the world? Now, I tell you a very good way to conceptualize this, to think about it, is to imagine the following. In fact, don't even imagine. Just literally go back in our minds. That's the imagine. Go back in our minds 2,000 years and take all the values that we today in the world hold to be dear. What I mean by that is we argue about a lot of things, right? You've got the Christian world, the Muslim world, the atheistic world, Hindu world, all these different worlds arguing about a lot of stuff, right? Disagreeing communism, capitalism, and so on. But there's things that we all agree, universals, right? Rights, basic human rights. We might disagree with how much, how far, the right to life. We might disagree with when you can lose that right. But everyone agrees an innocent child is born, has a right to live, and so on. Education, peace as an ideal. We might disagree about when to go to war, but peace as an absolute ideal. Social justice. We've got to measure a society by how it cares for its weakest and its poorest. Okay, so communism may go to one, others may disagree with how far and so on. But we agree on these fundamental values and many others. Equality before the law, right? Etc. Here's the incredible thing. If we go back in our minds, or just back in a history book or archaeological dig, 2,000 years, 3,000 years ago, we will struggle to find civilizations that held of these values. I'll give a simple example. Let's take the most basic and obvious right, the right to life. You go back a few thousand years and very hard pressed to find a society who thought about it the way all of us do today. Best example is infanticide, the killing of children, which was, as far as we can tell, almost universally. I mean, it's certainly very, very widely practiced. Why was it practiced? And you find this all the time. You find digs where there'll be mass graves of children. You find it in the literature of ancient societies. And it wasn't just about sacrifices like occasionally in Mesoamerica, Central America, or northern Celtic lands. The main reason for infanticide, for killing children, was population control, right? You didn't have to work too hard. If too many kids are born that year, you have to farm more. No, population control and disability. Things that will be unthinkable nowadays. And this wasn't just brutes and barbarians. Aristotle in Politics, book 6, I think it is. Certainly he writes about the perfect city-state where there should be a law in the English translation. I don't know the Greek original, but this is the standard translation, that no maimed or imperfect children be raised, i.e. no disabled children be allowed to grow up. Why? Because they can't work the fields as well. And to prevent excess of population, some children must be exposed. For a limit must be fixed to the population of the state. So even as basic a value as a right to life just wasn't there. And by the way, I'm not saying this to criticize Aristotle or Greeks. Just the world didn't think, it didn't naturally come to the way we think about these things. Warriorship in most societies, when we think of peace as the ideal today, in the ancient world it was typical that warriorship, heroism, and greatness were all intertwined. War was greatness. You might want peace within your realm, but you're always pushing its boundaries and expanding it if you were worth anything. Mass education did not exist, mass literacy, in classical antiquity, or even earlier, certainly, and later. But now you might say, yes, because it was so hard to learn to read or write. Not once an alphabet appeared. An alphabet appeared 3,500 years ago, pretty much the same as our Hebrew alphabet today. And more or less the same as the English. I mean, there's only really been one alphabet, right? It's just been changed and twisted and added to and detracted from, but it's basically the same alphabet spread through the world. From the moment the alphabet is there, an average 3 or 4-year-old can be literate. So why weren't they? Because the ideology was always about power being controlled with small elites, right? Even when you think about Athens and its democracy, there was always a small elite that could actually vote, a small elite running the show, who would typically have different laws, different rules to everybody else. So there wasn't an equality before the law anywhere. There wasn't an idea of social responsibility the way we think about it today anywhere. There wasn't an ideal of peace in the way we think about it today anywhere. There wasn't an ideal of even basic human rights, a right to life, the way we think about it today anywhere. And it seems that the clear explosion of these ideas comes from one common denominator, and that was ethical monotheism, specifically the Torah, which was the first to introduce these ideas into the world, The idea that every child is born with a right to life, that he who saves one life is like they saved the world. That's more the later Talmudic depiction of that. But the idea that every single child has to have an education, the idea that peace, the vision of the prophets, not to have a Jewish empire controlling the world, but nation shall not lift up sword against nation, none shall they learn any more war. The ideal of measuring the society and constantly criticizing its political leaders, kings in the ancient world, by the prophets of ancient Israel and Judea, because they weren't caring enough for the poor, and the mass work that the Torah is pushing to care for those weaker elements of society. And this has been acknowledged by many historians, right? Now, Jews didn't spread it to the world. You want to look at Paul Johnson, who says, to them we owe the idea of equality before the law, both divine and human, of peace as an abstract idea, love as the foundation of justice, and so he goes on, right? It's been noticed by many historians, non-Jewish historians. It spread through, let's say, Christianity. A lot of the ideals spread there. A lot of the ideals actually spread through Islam in large parts of the world. The founding fathers of America, who typically believed that the Catholic Church had missed its responsibilities. Genesis chapter 1, all men are created equal as the founding principle. Even communism, which the early communist thinkers were pretty much all secular atheistic Jews, who are often excerpting lines from Jewish prophets, just deleting God's name, and the ideology spread and changed the world. So ethical monotheism has probably been the single greatest engine of the transformation of the way that we think about moral, social, and political systems in the whole world, not just the Western world. It's a common root that has impacted every single civilization on Earth and been in dialogue with all of them. And it's no question, you can debate whether you like it or not, whether it's true or not, that it has had an absolute transformative impact on the whole of history for the good.
It really is amazing to listen to our educators to talk about such important topics that are so important and that are part of our Abraham Accord series. So thank you to Rabbi Rowe for talking to us on monotheism, and we have the honour now of welcoming him into the studio to address some of these questions that we have to take this conversation even further. So welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thank you for joining us. And before I kind of open the conversation with a question on this topic, I want to remind everyone watching that if you want to kind of get involved, ask your question, then you can post your question anonymously to the Encounter admin, or you can post it with your name if you like as well, and we'll get it over here. So please do get involved. But I want to kind of open the story, if you like, by asking perhaps a leading question, and that is that what would you say to somebody who turned around and said, this idea of monotheism being the root of so many good values, so many great things, and they say, well, I buy into all of that, all of the values, I just don't buy into the God behind it, the monotheist part I don't like, but the ethical part I like. What would you say to that?
Well, they were not unconnected historically. The concept, let's go back in time. You had lots of gods or lots of tribes, each one had their own power. That reflects the instinct of humans to be tribal in the sense of me and not you, and therefore I'm good, you're bad, I hate you, so on. The concept of one God doesn't remove tribalism. It doesn't remove me being separate from you, but it does mean there's a deeper sense of oneness. You see, when you've got one God, then you don't have a God of the rich and the poor, or you don't have a God of my tribe and not yours. You have the God of all of humanity. And so coming along with that must be a way to make peace with all of humanity. Must be a way to care, because the same God who loves me loves the poor person. The same God who loves me loves the other tribe that's at war. So monotheism is absolutely the driving force behind all of that. The idea that one God who rescued the slave people and brought them free is the same, the same God who creates all the world and its power. That was ultimately the philosophy that underpinned all of this.
I think that's an interesting point. Obviously, you mentioned that, back in biblical times, people did believe in these multiple gods and gods for everything and anything. And obviously, then we had this radical shift to the fact that people believed that there was one God in this idea of monotheism. But I want to bring that to the 21st century and how that's relevant. How is monotheism relevant nowadays? Obviously, there was this big shift, but you don't hear people talking about it as much nowadays.
People talk about monotheism. You mean you don't need God nowadays? You got the values. That is a point a lot of people make, and I think it's got legitimacy to it. A person, the reason we believe in it is because we think it's true. But if a person just evaluating, saying, "Can I not just be a good person?" without take on all these things without connecting it to God. One can in theory, certainly could in theory, and I would not say this is the only reason or this is the reason to be more Jewishly engaged or more monotheistically engaged. But even having said that, remember, social shifts take centuries. And even in the very short span of throwing God out that happened, the experiment with it, in China and Russia in the first half of the 20th century was a terrible failure, but even the Western version in the last few decades, there was a researcher in America, there's actually been a few who've affirmed this, but the first to really point it out was an economist called Arthur Brooks. And he wrote a book called Who Really Cares? I think it's Who Really Cares. And it was a study of the American Social Survey. What he looked at is as follows. At the time, in the state of South Dakota, the average charitable income per person was, I forget the amount, it's about $2,000 or something a year, probably a bit less, I don't know. And in San Francisco, which a city in California had the same population, also the same amount. But the problem was that in San Francisco, the average income was between 2 and 3 times higher than that of South Dakota. So what was it that made San Francisco's, relatively speaking, so stingy and South Dakotans so generous? And he starts analysing rigorous science. Rigorous science is, whoa, this factor, it's really regressing, factoring every single possible factor. And when you do it, it emerges that there are 3 key predictors that stand above all others. The third one, I actually forget off the top of my head right now, it'll probably come back to me, is political leaning. In America, right-wingers give more charity than left-wingers. Possibly, you can argue why that is, possibly because left-wingers believe the state will do it, possibly because of social conservatism and religion, who knows. That political does divide, nowhere near as much as family structure. People, on average, plenty of exceptions from strong families, stable marriages, on average give a lot more, but the biggest predictive factor by far is religion. Is engagement, doesn't matter what the faith. A person who lives with the consciousness of God, on average, again, plenty of exceptions in all directions, plenty of religious people who are terrible, plenty of atheists who are wonderful, but on average, when you look at the society, that is to this day produces an ethic of volunteering, an ethic of care, an ethic that is incomparable. So even to this day, there is a huge benefit to living a monotheistic life.
So I think actually it's a good point to jump in with an audience question over here. It might be taking things a different angle, but someone's asked, you talk about monotheism being the cause of all these great things, but hasn't religion, or I don't know if they're asking specifically about Judaism, but religion being the cause of so much conflict as well, suffering, death that goes along with conflict as well?
It's an excellent question and an excellent point. And there's no question that religion and monotheism absolutely can do that. Anything that creates a them and us can do that. But here's the interesting thing. A few years ago, they finally produced, 2 researchers, Axelrod and Phillips, produced the Encyclopedia of Wars, chronicling every single known war in the history of humanity. And here's the amazing thing. When you factor in religious wars, that is, wars either done to expand a religion or because of a belief the religion wants it to happen, what percentage of all wars in human history were caused by religion? Now you can actually try this. Try this at home right now. Those who don't know the answer, guess.
I guess you're going somewhere with this, but most people would assume not the vast majority.
Yeah, it turns out it's 6%. I think it might be 6 point something percent. I don't remember.
Wow.
Maybe it's like 6.9, but it's under 7%. Wow. I'll say that again. I mean, under 7%, i.e. 93% of all human conflict had nothing to do with any religion, let alone monotheistic. And in case you think, but religious wars were so brutal, it turns out that the casualties of religious wars are less than 2%. So where do we get this mistake from? Now, by the way, if you think about it for a moment, you'll realize it's obviously true. Because war in the human record begins at the Neolithic Revolution, farming. The minute humans have land that they settle, war begins. Why? Because I've got a farm, you've got a farm, mine produces crops, yours doesn't, you're coming to invade me, right? And if I'm nervous that maybe you'll invade me, I'll build a military first, and so we begin an arms race. Actually, war probably began even before then, but that's what we have in the record. Then empires begin, nothing to do with religion at this stage, and the empires start destroying each other, Sumerians, and then later on you get the Assyrians and the Babylonians and the Persians, and various empires that start destroying each other for land, territory. The Greeks weren't expanding for the sake of religion. The Romans weren't slaughtering people for the sake of religion. The Carthaginians weren't doing it. This was not what happened. Later on, religions take over. Islam starts the first major religious war expansion, then Christianity with the Crusades, and then within Europe, wars between Christians and Protestants, Catholics and Protestants. And then religions are gone in Europe as the dominant force, and nationalism takes over, and now wars just move into nationalisms and ideologies, communism, and you start to think, yeah, religion actually did not play a very big role. The French Enlightenment, we all think today in the narratives of the French Enlightenment, they were heavily anti-religious, and they created this narrative religion causes all the problems. But it's remarkable how little it caused, and here's the other thing. We will never know how many wars didn't happen because of religion. We will never know the person who, had they not been religious, would have gone to war, right? What we do know is religion, now this is not to excuse the terrible things done in the name of religion. Terrible. And sometimes because of religion. It's a dishonesty to say it's never been done bad things in the name of religion. For sure that's true. I'm not pretending, not whitewashing. But on the big picture of history, I would argue that religion, and I'm not here to defend all religion, right? Religion as a whole has done far more good, and certainly monotheistic religion, far more good than any bad done.
It could also be the reason why that's such a novel idea for us is that, I guess, in today's climate, there is quite a lot of religious conflict. But when taking a broader...
Although even today, right now in the world, where there is a lot of fanatical religious stuff going on, if you look at the big, right, look at Russia didn't go into Ukraine over religion. Assad wasn't slaughtering his people over religion. The ISIS guys were fighting for religion.
Right.
Assad wasn't. So there's even today. But you're right. Today's part of it. Part of it is also the push of new atheism to slate religion online, which you see a lot of these memes sort of just repeated and so on. So there's many reasons. I'm not saying religion never done bad, but the amount of good it's done is huge. And we have to distinguish between bad religion and good religion. But overall, it's very exaggerated how many problems it caused.
Just a reminder, if people in the audience do want to send it, we probably have time for one or two more audience questions. I want to slip in another question, and that is that maybe this is said more tongue-in-cheek. A lot of people have said, I've definitely seen, maybe this is one of the memes online, is that monotheism was a great step away from loads of gods, but we just need to make one more step. We've just got one left to get rid of, and then we'll be in a better place. What's the Jewish response to that? How do we respond to someone who says that?
We disagree. Well, I would say, look, it's like in science. You once had 500 fundamental principles. They were then narrowed down to a few dozen, which were then narrowed down to 2. Today, we'd sort of reduce it down to 2. We're hoping a lot of scientists to get it down to 1. Imagine someone comes along and says, hey, why don't we just rip up one more law and say there's no laws whatsoever? They're ridiculous, right? The difference between many gods and one God is not a difference between a number. Many gods are not gods. They're all finite. They're all basically hominids. They're all humans, superhumans ruling the world, and we project all our virtues and vices onto them. The idea of one God is not human at all. The idea of one God is it's not made of space and time at all. It's just a radically different idea. It's the idea of the deep unity that underlies all reality. You take it away, we don't have any unity whatsoever. So yes, many gods is like no gods. One is the source of all unity.
I think that's such an important point to sort of not end this on, because one of our main questions that we've been asking in our whole Encounter Abraham Accords series is we've been going through each week what our core Jewish values are, what these Abraham Accords, these different values that are deep-rooted in our morals and what we believe. And obviously, we're asking, have we succeeded? Have we succeeded in educating people that actually there is only one God? Have we succeeded in educating the whole entire world that there is only one God, as well as our Jewish, just the Jewish community? And are we a long way away from people actually within our community really believing that that is deep-rooted in our values and our morals? Are we nearly there? Are we succeeding or not?
It's a great question, and I think as Jews we don't measure our success by how many people follow us, right? Remember, if we did, we'd be a colossal failure, right? We're less than 1 in 1,000 people in the world. So first of all, we believe that people don't have to have exactly our view in order to be seen as valuable to God. I think overall, humanity has certainly moved in the direction of values I was speaking about earlier, right? Today, we all believe in a right to life. Today, we all believe in the value of peace, right? Today, we all believe in education of every child. There's a lot we do believe in. And the incredible thing is that if you want something really inspiring, hope for the future, there was no conqueror, no great Jewish conqueror who forced the world to think this way. There wasn't even a single great Jewish philosopher or leader who arose and took these ideas to the world. It was people like you and me, great-grandmothers, great-grandfathers in North Africa, in Iraq, in Yemen, in Europe, in France, in Poland, in Russia, who just tried to live good, godly things and just tried to look at every other human being as the image of God. And in the short run, they were often went through terrible suffering for it, but in the long run, they changed the world. And that, I think, it's inspirational that we can do a lot of little good things, and in the long run, the world will change for the good.
Wow, I can see there's a few more comments, but I actually think that we could, as if there's a running theme through Encounter, we always feel like there's so much more to say, and we often have to leave it in the middle. So I think that's a good point to kind of close this section of tonight's show and say a massive, massive thank you to Rabbi Rowe for spending the time with us and sharing some of those thoughts.
I don't mind if people want to email me, by the way. You can give out my email address.
We absolutely will. We absolutely will share.
It's been really nice being with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. The end of our penultimate topic on our Encounter series. Don't worry, not the last show yet. Next week is going to be our last show. But also, what would Encounter be without competitions, without incredible prizes? So tonight's competition is going to be a family fortunes style competition. Now, these questions that we've taken are taken from the actual board game with actual survey answers with possible bonus points as well given. So we have two teams, Nottingham versus Birmingham, and we have 4 questions plus a tiebreaker if needed, and they will be given a subject line or a topic, and they have to guess what they think the rest of the people who were asked this survey would answer that, and the points will resemble how many people guessed that answer. And then once that team gets it wrong, we will go on to the next team to ask the same question, and it will go back and forth until they get it wrong.
Now, some of you may have caught sight of tonight's Jackpot Prize. So if we just zoom out for a second, have a look at some of this over here, a fantastic display of a ridiculously large amount of chocolate. But of course, this is only part of the prize, because the winning team this evening will be receiving all of this, as well as they will be sent a fantastic chocolate fountain to dip all this delicious prize in. So that's what you're competing for. And tonight we have 2 fantastic teams competing. We welcome Team 1 from Nottingham and Team 2 from Birmingham. Let's see if we can say hello. Hi, team.
That's Team Nottingham.
That's Team Nottingham. Hi. We can hear you. And that's Team Birmingham over there.
Can we hear you, Birmingham?
There we go.
Absolutely. So we're going to flip a coin just to see which team will go first. Birmingham, would you like to take heads or tails?
Heads. Yeah.
Okay, let's flip the coin.
That was a confident heads, unanimous decision.
It's tails. So we are going to start with Nottingham. We're going to be bringing up a question, a subject, and you basically have to guess what you think the people who are asked in the survey would answer this question. So we're going to Nottingham first. Let's bring up question number 1. Question number 1 is...
It's Birmingham. Let's go to Nottingham. So Nottingham, this is for you.
Name something you would do around a campfire. So Nottingham, your first answer. You can discuss this as a team before you submit.
Okay, our first one's roast marshmallows.
Okay, we're going to put roasted marshmallows on there. Let's see what the survey says. Marshmallows. So Nottingham, you will receive 21 points for Nottingham. Okay, so you are going to continue guessing, Nottingham, as you got that correctly.
We think
around the campfire. Go on.
we think singing.
Singing around the campfire. Our survey said...
Yeah.
Congratulations, that's the top answer there, 50 points.
And you've got a third guess now, as you are still getting it right. As soon as you get the answer wrong, we will then go over to Birmingham team. So we're going to have your third answer, Nottingham.
We think it's play guitar.
Play guitar. Okay, let's bring up play guitar. Do we think, what does the survey say? Unfortunately, that was not correct. So we're now going to go over to Birmingham to make your guesses on this same question. So Team Birmingham.
Eat.
Let's have a see if eat is on the answer. Let's see what the survey says.
No, which means you've both got it wrong. So let's reveal before we move on to the next question, where Birmingham will start. Am I right? Nottingham will start
Nottingham will
after that.
start again.
Let's just reveal the last two answers over there. What would you do around a campfire? Our survey tells us, what would you do?
Oh, I'm going to
Audience was 15 people, and the fourth option there was to drink. There we go. Okay, let's bring up a new question for Nottingham to carry on.
So, question number 2 is, apart from a movie, name something you see in a cinema. Now, this one has 5 answers, so Nottingham, we're going to go to you.
Trailers.
Trailers. Let's have a look what trailers said.
Oh.
Let's just double check that. Trailers in English would be adverts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's what we meant.
Oh.
No.
No,
I'm in
I'm
disagreement
being told our
there.
survey said, Okay, apparently not.
We will now not, I'm just going to throw it out there, we are now not going to be taking adverts as a future answer to this topic. I will put a clarification that trailers will resemble a movie trailer, a snippet of a movie. Adverts would be something advertising a specific product at the cinema. So Birmingham, we're going to go over to you to make a guess on this one.
We'll go with popcorn.
Popcorn. Let's see what the survey says. That was the top answer, so 41 points to the Birmingham team. So you're going to continue guessing for this topic.
Catching up, Birmingham. Second guess.
Yeah. Drinks.
Drinks. Let's have a look if drinks is part of the Unfortunately not. So we're going to reveal the rest of the answers to this section of the topic and then move back to Nottingham for a new round. So let's have a look at the revealing of the topic. So the survey, the second thing in the survey for seeing things at a cinema was seats.
Who answered that? Yeah,
33 people apparently in the
33 people.
survey.
Seats.
Okay, let's reveal number 3 was people.
That's even worse than sitting.
Number 4 is screen, and number 5 was the big one with the bonus points of 50. But I will not take trailers as an answer for that one, I am afraid. So you missed out on a big one there. But we're going to go on to question number 3, and it's back to Nottingham. So number 3 is name something you should switch off before going to bed.
Your phone.
Mobile phone.
Phone.
Your mental health.
Okay, let's have a look. That survey says that was correct.
Correct.
So 4 points to Nottingham. And we're going to go again with your second guess.
The lights.
The light.
That's got to be on there. Our survey says. There we go. Top answer, 68 points.
Your
Third
third
guess.
answer.
The TV.
TV.
Have a reveal what the survey says. That was correct. So Nottingham, we've got lots of points being added up for your team currently. So just bear with us and then you can make your 4th guess. Okay, so Nottingham, we're going to go with your 4th guess for this topic.
The heating.
The heating. Let's have a
Our
look.
survey said.
Yeah.
Very good,
You've
very
got all
good.
4 correct, which means that you continue with the next question as well.
Wow, there's a little bit of a lead going on now. Birmingham can still win this.
Yes, there are plenty of bonus points in this section, so don't worry.
Right, Birmingham, let's bring up a new question for Nottingham. If they continue getting it right, they will hold on to the floor over here, but let's see. Okay, name something you need to make a cup of coffee. What's your first guess?
Yeah. Coffee.
Coffee, that has got to be on there. If people don't say that, then our survey said top answer. That was obvious, 43 points. There we go. Second guess.
A mug or cup.
A mug or a cup, our survey said. It's got to be there. There we go. 11 people said cup.
Let's get a third answer. Maybe you'll get it wrong so that Birmingham get another opportunity, but we'll see. Nottingham, what is your third answer for this one?
Milk.
Milk.
Oh, very good.
Well done. So our survey says that you got 10 points for that one. Let's go for number 4.
Sugar.
Sugar. Let's have a look. Sugar. Survey says that was... Oh, we revealed the wrong one. We revealed the wrong one. Okay. Okay. Sugar was still correct. I can reveal
Sugar was indeed the fifth answer there, 9 points.
I think because of that, we should do a round 5. Should we do a round 5?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's have another question, see if we can get Birmingham back in the game.
Should we let Birmingham start this round, actually?
Let's give them a little bit of a head start. I don't know if this will help them. It could be too little, too late. But let's try. Birmingham, you're up for another question. Here we go. Name a kitchen appliance. That's a difficult one. Birmingham, gosh. Kitchen appliance.
Oven.
An oven.
Let's have a look.
It's gotta be
Survey
there.
says.
Come on. There we go.
Correct.
7 people.
Done. What was that, sorry?
Toaster.
A toaster. Survey says.
Top
Correct.
answer. 38 points. Okay.
Let's do a third answer for you guys.
A kettle.
Kettle. Survey says that is correct. Okay, we have lots of more points being given to you, so let's hope it's a little bit closer. Let's see how we can do. Let's guess your fourth guess in, Birmingham.
Microwave.
A microwave. Let's have a look. Survey says correct. Let's see if you can get your fifth answer for the last topic correct. Let's have a look, Birmingham. Your fifth item, a kitchen appliance.
A hob/stove.
A hob/stove. Let's have a
Our
look.
survey
what the survey
says.
says.
Oh,
The
shame.
last answer we can reveal was a blender.
A blender.
Actually, isn't that a utensil?
Yeah, isn't that a utensil, not an appliance? What,
Oh, wow, the points were very close. I'm
was
quite
that-
impressed.
is that really where we ended up? That is quite close.
No, we might have done some additions.
It could be that we
there.
did a little bit of mathematical problems.
Don't worry, I can. We
There
are
we go.
afraid that it was half the amount.
Close, but
Thank
not,
you
not
so
close
much for
enough.
all participating anyway.
Yeah, it does look like Nottingham took the lead there quite early on, and unfortunately, commiserations to Birmingham, you didn't quite manage to catch up over there. So Nottingham are tonight's Jackpot Prize winners. Congratulations, Nottingham. We will be sending you all of this stuff together with a chocolate fountain of your own.
Absolutely. Very exciting. And we hope to see lots of pictures of you roasty toasting your marshmallows over a chocolate fountain.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Enjoy. And like you say, Birmingham, we're sorry about that. If you guys want to participate in future competitions, next week is in fact our last encounter. So therefore, it's our last competition. So if you guys want to participate, please send me a message. We have an incredible jackpot prize of a waffle maker. Yes, we are coming round in circles with all the ingredients, the toppings, and we also have more extra prizes to give out. But we're going to go back to the beginning of the show to announce the winner of our hangman competition. Now, Leia and Adina, or the Strom family, did guess the answers right, but I can reveal that actually students got this right before they did. So there are no extra membership points going out to campuses. But don't worry, we have 2 winners. So the winner of our first hangman competition, which was the word was AstraZeneca, was
Great
Daniel.
words. Who chose that?
A great word, which was Daniel Clayman. So Daniel Clayman, we will be in touch to send you your £10 Amazon gift voucher, as well as our winner for our second one, the word road trip, Isabel Oakland in Nottingham. So we will send you your £10 Amazon gift voucher as well. So congratulations. Sadly, we're not going to discuss the poll. I did lose.
I think.
But I will still.
Wait, one second. I think it was quite unanimous. That.
No, 60-40.
Look.
It's not that unanimous.
Okay, but I reckon that someone on the production team probably wanted to give you a bit of support, so added a few votes.
Right. Okay. Anyway, you've all got your opinions. I'll let you have your opinions. That's okay, but you're wrong.
There was an American president that was a bit like that, denying obvious results.
But what are we going to discuss next, Gideon?
Yes, for those who are a bit more perceptive, observant watchers of Encounter, you may remember last week I mentioned towards the end of the show in a rather mysterious way that you should tune in this week because we have a very exciting announcement. It's time for that announcement.
It is. Now, this is huge. If you remember my hangman game, it was the word road trip. That is because we are doing an Encounter carpool road trip. This is going to be an absolutely insane event. We are taking a 4-day, 3-night road trip where you will be travelling up and down the country in your bubbles, in your cars, seeing beautiful scenes from all over the UK. Yes, the UK has some beautiful scenes, as well as doing incredible activities like paintballing, go-karting, escape rooms, and so much more.
Yes, there are so many things at the moment that we can't do. One of the things we really were desperate to do was go to Dubai. We can't do that. We sat down, the Asian campus team sat down and asked ourselves, what can we do? And we have put together something that can only be described as absolutely stunningly innovative, fantastically creative, and absolutely incredible given the circumstances. In a COVID-secure way, we will be able to go on a trip where we can connect in an immersive way with each other. Everyone stays in their own bubbles. All inclusive, that means we cover the cost of petrol, accommodation, food, and of course some of those fantastic activities that Danielle just mentioned. And as Danielle said, you might be wondering if there are any beautiful places in the UK. Just check out this, where I was just yesterday. Students of Encounter, hope you're having a good evening. I am in the middle of the Yorkshire Dales doing a little bit of reconnaissance to find the most incredible places for us to see on our upcoming road trip together. That's right, Encounter Carpool is coming to you to see some of the most beautiful areas of... This is where I am now, check it out. You wouldn't believe it, but this is indeed in the UK. If you'd like to have the most incredible opportunity of a lifetime, in the situation that we have, where everyone will remain totally socially distant, in your bubbles, in your cars, but yet have the most incredible trip of a lifetime, then sign up today to join the Encounter Carpool, happening this April 12th to the 16th. See you there. By the way, there's a special prize for anyone who can count the number of times that I said incredible over the last 5 minutes. It's because it's so incredible. But yes, we've really thought about how we can break down social distancing by connecting with each other. And the question is, how do you do that when you have to stay far apart? We've got fantastic ideas. Every single bubble in their car will be receiving an iPad for the duration of the trip with data to be able to contact everyone. You'll get walkie-talkies, and of course, you have a fantastic box of incredible, there we go, had to say it again, merchandise specifically, H merchandise specifically for this fantastic carpool trip.
It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. And all of this is at such a low price. We are giving you different discounts depending on your membership levels. So those people who have reached Platinum, by the way, there is 2 students out here who know who you are, Abigail Gilbert and Becca Clayton. Shout out to those 2 who are our first 2 students to reach Platinum member. But you can get your trip for as low as £100 for 4 days and 3 nights. All of this included. It's going to be absolutely insane. So make sure to sign up with your bubble via the Asian Campus website to join part of our Encounter Carpool community.
Of course, if you want to find out more about it, be in touch with any of the Asia educators, anyone on the Asia on Campus team. And that is really about as much as we can cram into one show. But to leave you with this, if you're looking for ways to perhaps boost your membership points to enable you to get a slightly reduced rate for this amazing trip, I nearly said it again. Incredible trip. Then look out on campus this week. Tomorrow night, if you're in Birmingham, you can join the journey with Rabbi Eliezer. If you're in Nottingham, you can join a second in a series of Insight or Insight with me. If you, on Thursday night, if you're in Birmingham, you can join Rebbitzin Mira for Girls Aloud, second in the season. Or if you're in Leeds, I've got to remember so much here. If you're in Leeds, there's so much going on. If you're in Leeds, you can join Rabbi Oizer on Thursday night for a second in the series of Insight or Insight. If you're on northern campuses, then look out for Deliver Jews all over, coming to cities near you. And of course, next week, we are crowning the victorious winner, yet to be decided, of Juniversity Challenge. It's York against Manchester. If you'd like to join, of course you can join in there to watch who will be the crowned champion. And of course, don't forget, if you are interested, there is a girls painting night next week with Rebbitzin Adina Strom for Northern Campus Girls. That is just a taste of what's going on. Of course, Thursday night, we are also coming together to join with Finito for those looking to get the best possible start towards their dream career. And of course, if you're looking to do something incredible, there we go again, in the summer, then you have your amazing 2 months in Jerusalem trip that we're offering that we spoke about last week, but you can find out more about on the website. I think
I was going to say, would you like a glass of water there?
Oh, no, that's everything.
Make sure to sign up for our Encounter Carpool. It's seriously going to be absolutely insane. We're so excited for it. But we will see you next week for our last Encounter episode of the season.
This series,
our last Encounter episode. But apart from that, it's goodbye from us, and we will see you next week.
See you.